Hey, Marion Swingler of Confident You podcast. Hey there, Confident You. Grateful for you to be back in this space, in this time. We are here to gain confidence in something that's very valuable. I know you looked at that title and said, listen, Black people say they don't do what? You know we do. There are some things that we say we are not going to do. And there are things that I can honestly say have never changed during my life that we as a people say we are not going to do. Listen, we will get to that family event or go to that friend's house or go to that cookout. And when we walk over to the table to make our plate, listen, we are not going to just pick that potato salad up. Who made that? And it has to be a certain color and texture, and there are so many attributes that this potato salad has to have to even make it to the plate. That is a very particular thing for my people. There is also that thing of, listen, can't do bland food. That food needs to be seasoned to perfection, not over seasoned, but it needs to have seasoning. It can't just be bought, washed, and cooked. There it is, bland, no flavor. That is something that my people are not really accustomed to or willing to commit to. That's not our thing. Listen, okay, let's see. One more thing. Listen. Black people don't allow you with a straight face and a smile on our face to step on our fresh butter Tims. That's not going to happen. It's not acceptable. I just need you to know. Listen, it's not, or doesn't have to be a big blown out fight, but I'm telling you, the look, listen real close. There's a groan like, because it's something that wants to be done, but we can control ourselves, but that's definitely not a good look to step on our fresh kicks. Don't, please, that's something that Black people don't do. There are so many things that we don't do, but there are some things that would be in our best interest if we dropped those old ways of thinking and committed to wholeheartedly. I can say that things, I can see a turn in this direction, but because I'm not an expert in this field, I have someone who is. There is a scripture that comes to mind for me that is Proverbs 4:7. Proverbs 4:7. I want to say it verbatim, because if I say it the way I just say it, you're going to be like, that's not what that says. So let me read. No, ready? Read. That's how you say it in church. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding. Tonight, we're here to get understanding. But to get understanding, it clearly says wisdom is the principal thing. So I bought someone who is a principal wisdom in this area, right? I'm just going to say it. But for me, what that means is wise counsel. I bought wise, experienced counsel to discuss the topics that we have about the things that Black people say, yeah, we don't do that. So let's go. Let's get into it. Let's bring to the platform the beautiful, the tender, the gentle, the kind, the strong. You can try it if you want to. You'll find out. The one and only Venita Jackson.
Good evening, beautiful.
How are you, gorgeous?
I am well, and again, you need to be doing everyone's intros for everyone's podcast. Like, that's it. That's another corner for you to run into.
My goodness, that is such an honor. Thank you so much. Thank you for, shining light on something I always wonder, is that good? Is that okay? And then I just decided, just do what you would want to see. So just
Yes.
somebody else sees that and appreciates and hears it. And
I
in
mean,
that moment, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So thank you for being here. How was your day today?
my day was really good. It was really, really, I'm just blessed. I enjoy what I do.
Come on here. Come on here. I'm just blessed. That is a beautiful thing to be. Now, I was talking about some of the things that, listen, as a people, we just don't do. Do you agree with that potato salad?
We had a party this past weekend, and there was that I was one of the servers. Now that you mention it, I remember who made that. I don't know. I love, and I was with my family, and I love my family. I don't know. Well, what about it? It's free. You
Listen,
know, it's free. You know you're gonna eat it. Why are you doing this? So why are you doing this? Like, I love that my family love and appreciates me and let me be who I am. I do realize that I can be alive, and they just be like, "That's just Nita," and I've heard them say that, and I'm so thankful that they still love. I think they always love me, and I think they kind of like me now that I'm older. They didn't
oh,
like me too much before.
oh, wait a minute. You're not gonna start right there, and we're not gonna go there. What you mean they didn't like you? Please expand, expound.
I think that we're gonna love you, but they don't like me, right? I think we all go through that. There's people that I don't like at certain periods of our relationships, but I always love you, and I'm always 10 toes down for you. No one can look at anybody that has my DNA, that I share DNA with, wrong. You cannot look at them. You cannot smile at them. You better fix your face. Yeah, I don't like her, but you better not look at her a certain type of way.
I need you to understand how true real what you just said is. Because it's certain people, like it's my family. I can say that.
And even if it's true, that's not the point.
That's not the point. That's not your place.
Their minds.
That right there. So you can listen to me gripe all day, every day. So that is so true. Listen, I can't believe that you would say someone does not like you. You're an amazing woman. Oh, did you say, wait a minute, is there a list?
No, it's okay. So I have a 94-year-old grandmother, and her name is Mabel Wright. And, we have Medea. My grandmother has always been a Medea. And it's not because she's gotten older. From the time that I can remember, she's always been who she is. And I love that about her. I love that, especially a woman of that age. My grandfather let her be who she was. But he also, I remember times he looked at her, look at Maybelline. And he would give her a look, and she would get some order and discipline about herself. But she always had this saying, I'm just not everybody's cup of tea. And they probably not mine. And that's just life.
She literally, I'm still stuck on her. She would get order and discipline about herself. Those aren't, where did you learn that? Because that's normally not the verbiage that I hear when someone describes, you better straighten up.
So I've been in the military for 30 years, but I think that I did so well in the military because my mother raised, well, in our family, you're raised with expectations. From the time you're born, you're raised with expectations. My mother would say things, you three kids represent the best of me and your dad. People know us out here.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I just hold up. Give me one second. Give me 1 second. You did not say that your mommy and your daddy say, listen, you represent us.
The best of us.
The be- the best of us. How did you? When was the first time you heard that?
I, re- I for so long, and I think I really remember like when they would send us to South Carolina because my whole family, all both sides, all my grandparents are from South Carolina. We're upstate New York, we're Rochester, so they would send us down south, and we would get that speech. Don't go down there acting like you don't have any upbringing. Don't just everybody in this community, Bloomingdale, Andrew, South Carolina, is your people.
So you telling me these people
Yes,
said that to you? So
both my parents.
these
Yes,
people
yes.
to the Confident You podcast family.
Yes. So the lady is my mother. Her name is Dolores Wright. And then the gentleman is my father, Calvin Jackson. They were married. They got married when my mom was 18. My dad was 20, 21. I'm the eldest. They had me about 2, 3 years later. And so her, so not even my mother's grandma, my mother's mother, my grandmother that I mentioned, her father was best friends with my father's father. So my grandmother grew up knowing Mr. Wesley. Back in the day, you would have, those double digit kids. He had one wife, she passed away. He went and had another, married another one. That second set of wife had my dad. So it's just, we're just so intermingled. That is Alan McCullough's granddaughter, great granddaughter. You can't do her a certain way. So
That part right there. Listen, that's a black people thing. We do not allow you to do us a certain way.
especially when we know your people and we know where you come from.
That makes a difference.
It does. You're right, man.
That makes a difference in today's society. Do you feel like black people are losing that?
It saddens me to no end the older that I get because I know who I am. I know my identity, good, bad, indifferent, that crazy. But I know, right? I know I can put a face, and that's important. And I don't know what it means to be without that. So I have that privilege, right? But I do think a lot of our babies, especially, they don't know who they are or where they come from. And then you have outside influences telling them what they are, and it's usually not positive.
Right, right. It's usually not positive. That's sad. Is there a time in your life when you were younger that you felt that it just wasn't positive or you needed something else? In terms of not positive, maybe you didn't have the confidence in you and you needed something else or somewhere else where you found that.
I do think there was a time in my life, even with the love, the natural love, I've never doubted that I am the apple of my mommy's eye. Never had any doubt. But my mother did. She was an alcoholic. The relationship did not bode well with my dad. He was abusive, and I was the oldest, so I remember a lot more than my siblings remember. My mother became depressed, started drinking heavily. But even with that, she was still working. She was still making sure she had all her babies with her. We would have some hard times, maybe power wouldn't go out, maybe, but she had her pride. She would find a way, don't tell mama them, that the gas and electric was cut off. Keep a roof over our head. We together, we're going to make a game, we get some candles. But there was a time where I would hurt for her because I would see what she would go through.
Yeah.
And, even with that love, I still would be angry because she would also, too, at times take my dad back. And I was very angry. I was very angry.
She would take your dad back. Why were you angry?
Because he wasn't good. I was there. I remember the crying. I remember the physical abuse. I remember the verbal abuse. I remember the other women. I remember the women, the disrespect. I just remember. So,
At some point, I think that is another thing that Black people don't do. We don't do disrespect well. We don't do disrespect. I think, but I think there has to come a time where it goes beyond the surface of disrespect. All of the things that you are saying are way beyond disrespect into abuse,
yes, yes,
into
definitely.
into the bigger abyss of abuse.
Yes.
Um, wow. So where did you find that confidence, that place,
I
safety?
found my confidence. One thing my mother she was an author. She used to write poetry. She used to write short stories. So she kept us in the library. We kept a library card active. We made sure we didn't have any fines. Like, we would always have books, and I'm so thankful. Books were my escape. So reading.
Show me that. Show me books. I've heard people say that. Books were my escape. I just want
Yes.
to ask you, if it's not too hard or it's not too intimate, a question. Give me a scenario of being in something and going into the book to escape.
Daddy might have came by, and there was some talk of, money, because my father did not take care of us financially. And then, but my father had money. My father was a hustler. My father always worked, but then he was on disability. But my father ran after hours gambling spots. He cooked pig. My father is the man. Everybody knows Juicy or Sunny Boy. So he would have big wads of money, but because of whatever reason, she wouldn't let him come, and just, he wouldn't give it to her. And at times she would send me down to the spot and have big wads of money, and she would like, go in there and see if your daddy give you some money. And I go in there, and he would be so like, no, tell your mama she needed to let me, just not good. So I'm seeing this again as the oldest. So if he would come by, it would get really verbally abusive. I would take my brother and sister and let's go to the back of the house or something. And then let me put on a video, or let's get our books. And that's why I said I'm so thankful. We all are readers. We all love to read. So let's just go grab our books. And that would be my thing. Even now, I would have my book and I would have sunflower seeds. And I would just go get my headphones and just go in my own little world. So you have that aura. And then my mother too. Don't live in my house because you don't know how to, have no mice around here because mice like seeds. My mother was not about that.
Come on here. So you escape in the book. He gave me a great scenario of what you, well, not scenario, a great depiction of what you would be escaping from that's in reality. Could you tell me, where would you escape? Like, what was your favorite book and setting, scene you would escape to?
There'll be series, So I'm older. They have so many different series now, but I love the Hardy Boys. I
The heart.
love the Hardy Boys. I love Nancy Drew. That little girl solving all those mysteries all over the world.
So what was your favorite section that was like, oh my, I could see me here? Did you see yourself as her, or did you see it as you were reading and it was a movie? For me, I see it and it's like I'm seeing the movie as I
I'm
read.
seeing I'm seeing the movie, right? Because again, these are books that at that time, I'm 51. We didn't have books with pictures of people that look like us.
Right.
We just didn't. I, we didn't, right? We did not. I love the Little Women series. I love Laura Ingalls. So yeah, I love them. They were good. They were wholesome. They were family. There was respect.
Wow. You said it again. And that is definitely something that is valued by Black people. Respect.
Yes.
You said they were good, they were wholesome, but where you landed, the strongest impact that I heard you say was respect. And when you were talking about your family dynamic, the disrespect.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I could really hear how heavy that weighs with you in terms the weight of it for you. And I believe that words mean different weights to different people. Some people
So
are like,
true.
I don't need that. It doesn't matter what it is. Just give me what I want. And some people are like, no, it not listen now. Hold it. Wait up a minute. That means something to me. So I it was just interesting to hear that. And then it's just as you move through your life. Now I wanted the people to just get familiar with who you are just as a person before we delve into this topic. So I know people are like, well, wait, what are we here? We are here to talk about how Black people, because we're same. I'm 53, you're 51. Same. So we grew up in a time where mental health for Black people, African Americans, was really not seen or not addressed or that secret.
Yes. Yes. It was, you had to be really crazy. Like there was something wrong with him. Like something wrong with him, you know. It was just extreme.
Yes, just the extreme. Was there ever a time in your life, I've heard the family dynamic, was there ever a time that you could acknowledge, maybe then or now, that there were mental health challenges going on?
I could not, I didn't see them till my mother became sober. I did not have a clue about mental health, right? Because stuff is so normalized within everyone's individual family that you don't see it as a problem or maybe something that we should talk about or is this an issue, you know? So I knew my mother would be sad. I knew that she would be crying. I knew if Tina Marie came on, oh boy, right? Because she would play the slow Tina Marie, not Square Biz. We had it with Square Biz on.
Because that is a Black people thing. Let me tell you something.
But that Deja Vu song, oh jeez.
You could tell exactly how we feel by the music that we're playing. That you're rude. I want to let you know something right
If
now.
we play Lakeside, it's all good. It's all the way live,
That
right?
joint change. It be Barry White, and there's a certain Barry White song you
Yes,
good, and then there's a certain one you like. Wait a minute,
yes,
what just
yes,
happened? Marvin Gaye, so
yes.
good.
Sam Cooke, oh boy. We hear about his playing best and how his wife did this with Bobby Womack. Oh boy.
Do you know that now they're admitting, well, no, now I have found information that there were different artists that sitting on the dock of the bay. That joint
Otis Redding.
going through.
Yes, Otis Redding. Yep,
Yes. He
yes,
was going through like the song, his voice, absolutely beautiful, melodic, the texture of it, the volume, the depth,
yes,
everything, just the
yes.
emotion, the simpleness,
Visceral.
effortlessly that he
Yes.
playing that
Just
message. But if you really listen to the lyrics, it wasn't good. It
no,
wasn't good.
no.
And I think that as a people, there are times that we have. That's amazing that he wrote the song. I wonder if he ever got, I guess, treatment.
He
It's something we don't
well, he
crazy.
died. He died. Yeah, I don't know. He died young, but one thing I do recall, we were just talking about this not even 2 weeks ago. I think he had an idea that something was going on because he set up trust for his family. His family still has all the land that he bought for them. Yeah, his family is still benefiting off of what he did from them. So it makes you wonder, right? Did he kind of know that my time here is limited? My time here is short,
Wow.
especially in that time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Who's telling you that the advice that you're getting is just to produce, not really to make to plan it for generations to come? Because that's a generation's.
yes, especially black people, right? If you don't have it and when you get it, you don't think about the generations. So I love that.
That's true. Thanks. I appreciate you. I
Likewise.
that I you because I was going a totally different way, and what you say, that is definitely something that Black people in general, I'm not saying everyone, and all of the things that I'm saying, the things that I'm laughing about are the things that I feel are lighthearted. But the serious topics are not to be laughed at, and that's what we're here to discuss. That's why it's on
Yes.
the table. That's why it's up for discussion. You have experience seeing mental health in your family, and you said your mom, and particularly you said when she was sober. So do you think that there's a connection between substance abuse and mental health? Not
Oh,
all, but just
not all, but I think, as a mental health counselor, I've worked in that niche, drug and alcohol. I think when the brain is heavy, right, just as simple as we can put it, when the brain is heavy and hurting, we're going to try and treat it. We're going to try and treat it. We want to numb it. We want to not be in pain. We want some peace. We want some grace and mercy, right? We want some grace and mercy. Yeah.
wow. And that I never looked at it that way. Ma'am, you just messed me up. You want grace and mercy, and so the substance is something you're using to try and get that.
Everything we do is for a feeling, right? It's for a feeling. We want to feel better. That's who we are. We're humans. Whether it's directly or indirectly, it goes to us feeling good about ourselves, feeling good about the people that we love, feeling good about this world that we live in. And we're all just trying to put one foot in front of the other. I have gone through depression, you know, I've had suicidal thoughts, and I'm someone that is actually trained. I'm someone that has been active with therapy. I'm someone that is very self aware when I'm full. So I have all that, and I still be like, okay, I have to take a break or I have to do this. I'm meeting with my therapist tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. It took me a while to get there. Again, I'm a mental health counselor. I have it going on. I'm this, I'm that, I'm blessed. But my brain was full. My heart was heavy, even with all my blessings. So you can only tell yourself so many times, girl, snap out of it. Girl, cut it out. Girl, figure it out. Stop trying to muddle through everything by ourselves, Black people.
Wow, say that again.
Stop trying to muddle through everything by ourselves, Black people.
Hmm. It is amazing to me that in this country, 1 out of every 4 adults are suffering from mental health issues. With you being a mental health counselor for 30 years,
No, not. I was in the military for 30 years.
okay. And how long
So
have you been a counselor?
2015.
Since 2015.
So 2015, yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's almost 2 decades. Okay. Almost a decade.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes.
Listen, ma'am, you know what it is. Listen.
Listen, that's another Black thing that people don't do. Which my best friend, she's all about stuff. She has a nonprofit in Daytona Beach, Florida. So we're going to start changing that language too. Black people do science, technology, math, all of that. We're doing that, engineering.
Yes.
So yeah, we're going
Yes.
to change that too.
Yes. 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 And yes. Yes. And that's what we're here to do, to discuss.
Yes,
Listen, you say you don't do that because you're of a certain hue, of a certain race, but yeah, you're going to want to do that if you want
yes,
an abundant life. If you want
yes,
a better life, you want to address the things that you have going on. You want to try different things. You want to take a different point of view. You want to listen to the information that's
yes,
out on the specific topic that you may be interested in learning and getting better in, instead of just saying, I don't. I don't. I
yes.
don't do that. We don't do that. Nah, that's not us. Mm-mm. So now you're a mental health counselor.
Yes.
How did that come about?
That came about, it really started when my mother became sober. So we had an incident, and my grandparents found out that my mother drinking was really bad. And I remember it was a Sunday. They came to the house and took us, and it was an ugly scene, crying, pulling on her. And I love that my grandparents and my auntie, my mother's sister, was like, "It's game over." I love that, right? Because that's what family's supposed to do. That next day, she went to rehab. My mother just celebrated 37 years sobriety yesterday. 37 years sobriety. That was it.
Yes, come on here, Ma. Come through.
So again, when you have something, children always, it's amazing when you all grow up in a household with children, the perception is always different, right? You like, when we're in the same household, I have one sibling that still wants to cry about it. Mommy left us. We stayed with our aunt and uncle. We were spoiled. I think we got school clothes like we never received before. Like, we were loved on. Like, Uncle T gave us $10 a day for school lunch. What? And Lisa cooked every day. Like, my cousin Wayne took care of us. He beat up a bully. We did not suffer. But if that's what you want to hold on to,
Right. You didn't give her not one, but two thumbs.
and it's the thing. I think I'm blessed too. I'm the oldest, right? And that's my mommy. My mommy's the oldest, so I'm like, that's my mommy, and I see what she did, and I know others that died from drugs and alcohol that weren't able to,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
I've seen, when you grow up anywhere, it's not just the hood. I know everybody think the hood is where all the drug people are and all the addicts are. No, they're not. But for me, I don't need to touch the fire to know that it's hot, especially after I saw it burn you. I don't have to see it one time. So when you grow up and you see, what I call, the people that are not present, they're not fully present, they can't fully enjoy their loved ones. They're in pain and they're looking for a release. I've seen it too much. So to know that that's not her story, and that literally them coming to take us, game over.
Game over.
Game over.
Them coming to take you, game over. I want to just take a moment right here, and I'm going to come right back to our conversation. Game over. All right. Listen, I am so excited about tonight's conversation. I want to hmm, she's saying so much. I'm like, I just want to jump back over, but I really want to get certain information out. And now that she's talking about domestic violence, I want to say it here. If you or someone you know is suffering at the hands of domestic violence, help is here. You can call Bethany House. As for my girl Tiffany, She will make sure that you get all the information and all the instructions that you need to get to a safe place or help someone get to a safe place. The number is 1-888-80-HELPS. That's 43577, or you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 7233. And we're going to jump right back into it because, ma'am, wow. Wow. The perspective that you have on not being taken away from your mom, but seeing that you were being loved on and essentially rescued. How did that then play out in you doing the same for others?
Exactly. It's funny you mentioned that. I see that. I've done a lot of things that other people may not have done. I had a young lady who grew up with a mother that was alcoholic, father was absent, and I remember she came to me and said, "I want to go into the Air Force." She had a child, but she didn't have anybody she could leave him with, and he was one. And so I said, "I'll do it." And I remember I talked to my mother about it. She was like, "You will?" I was like, "Yeah." And my mother and I talk every day. So I was telling mommy, she was like, "Yeah, you will do it because somebody did it for me."
Wait a minute, because we're not going to just brush past that. So, not only did you see it as a situation of being rescued, she saw it
Yeah,
as being rescued.
yeah. And so I did. And so I remember, you talk about things. And I was like, okay, well, let's see if she really does it. Did not think she was going to do it. This young lady called me. "Hey, Auntie." She called me Auntie. "Auntie, I did it. I'll be leaving in a week." I don't have kids. This is 1 year old diapers. Hmm.
Give me one.
Hmm.
Give me 1 second. Wait a minute. Oh,
Whew.
ma'am.
And I was young, so I was definitely doing that hot girl summer that they talk about now.
You invented that. You like, y'all ain't even doing it right. I can show you how.
I did it internationally.
Ma'am. Ma'am. You told me
Diapers.
that
Potty training.
you looked at somebody and you said, listen, I'm a one up you. You ain't got nobody to watch that baby. I got you. Then she called you out on your word. And you said, wait, huh? Wait a minute. Why was your mouth wide open? I know you were sitting there like, huh?
I said, she really did this, but she didn't give me warning. Like, so
She said, nah, dude, I'm out.
so yeah, I had a little boy for 6, almost 7 months. I potty trained him and everything, and of course I fell in love with him. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, ma'am. You're out here rescuing people. I want you to, that is an amazing rescue story. I know there are some people like, wait, hold on. I got a 16-year-old. I need you to watch real quick while I run. That's not what you're doing. That's not the offer you had on the table. It's
I can, especially now that I'm older,
wait,
now that I'm
that's stuttering.
now that 16-year-olds, they talk a certain way, and they start smelling their draws. And if I feed you and clothe you, there's not a lot of. My mother has this saying: "This country's a democracy, but not in this house."
Mm, your mama and her sayings. You said she wrote a book. I'm gonna need a book of sayings from your mama so I can go ahead and drop that hotness on the people because your mama be dropping bombs out here in these streets.
So it was, yeah.
Wow. Wow. So okay. But could you tell the people exactly what it is you do or what you did? Do you still do this? in the military?
Yes. So I'm retired. I retired this past November. I just retired.
Last November. But what were you helping people do, and why did they feel you were the person to do it? Because everything you've said so far is strong, strong, strong. But and I heard the tender, the caring, the kind.
It's funny because, when I retired, I was the first sergeant. The first sergeant is charged with the morale wellness of the commander's people. So I am the commander's right here. And
Was there other black people or black females who had that position?
I was the first and only one, even to this day, at my base. I was I was the first ever. I was the New York State First Sergeant of the Year. That was for the state in 2018. And I didn't realize I was the first till my girlfriends told me.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, that's that thing right there. Black people don't do that. Yes, they do it. Just trying to live an abundant life.
And you know what? I definitely would get black people. Why are you in the military? Why are you? I wouldn't serve in this country's military. And I would always be like, so this not your country?
You still here?
I. It's just something that simple to where you don't know that this is your country, that you do have rights. You're drinking the Kool-Aid that some of these others are trying to pour in your cup. You're actually drinking it. This is my country. This is my country. This is my country. And again, I'm 51, so I've always been, for me, I'm black. I can't be African American if I've never been there. I'm going. I'm going to Ghana this year. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm not even proud. I'm even looking at land there. I'm excited.
You going
But
to Africa?
oh yeah, definitely. For all intents and purposes, this is my country, and I don't need anybody's permission
Right.
to partake in the benefits being in the military has given to me.
Yes. 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 All right. So in the military, how did you help people with mental health?
So in the military, again, as the first sergeant, when that's in our AFI, instructions, charged with the health, morale, and wellness. That's a pretty health, morale, and wellness, right? So that could be anything and everything. That could be domestic. That could be suicide. That could be you really came up in here with fuchsia fingernail polish and little gold tips, and you think you're gonna work today in uniform? I used to have fingernail polish at my desk. That is so cute. Ooh, here. We have a uniform. We have an instruction that tells us how we can wear it. It's kind of easy if you just follow it. And I know you're going to be an individual. Be an individual when you're not in uniform. So again, I think coming from the background that I came from too, I had no problem falling in. There's things, of course, I didn't like. There were things that I tried to skirt around. Oh, I used to, that line with the hair, that hair. Oh, so I'm going to try and wrap it up. But then that little blonde braid come falling out.
Okay.
But I love, I always try to share what the military has done for me just because I think that in our world, our children, our young adults, we don't know what we want to do. I'm still figuring out some things. If you can have that as a foundation, especially if you're a serial entrepreneur, it's going to make it easier for you. There's not going to be any Social Security, right? We probably would mess that up.
What happened? I'm sorry. I hit
That's
something.
okay.
Oh my goodness. I just, with helping people with mental health and their wellness, their being in the military,
Yes.
basically their being, what exactly would you, just so people understand
Okay.
what you're saying mental health is, what are I, a better word is escaping me right now. I wish I had
Okay.
one at this moment. But what are different titles that you would say?
So I'm a mental health counselor. I graduated in 2015, and then I worked for an organization separate from the military. I could not be dual hatted. I can't be in uniform and then still doing the psychological, the counseling thing. It's either or. So in my role, I worked closely with our director of psychological health. Part of, I think, my skill set and what made me attractive was I did have that, because it's a real big issue, especially. So I'm at a guard unit, but we have an active duty mission where we do remote pilot aircraft. So we're basically fighting a war from Niagara Falls, New York.
Hmm.
We do. They don't like this pilots. It's drones, remote pilot aircraft. So
Right,
that's what we do.
right.
There
But
is a lot of mental. I'm sorry.
oh, you said it's a lot of mental things. So how does that present itself?
So we're fighting the war. So people, they're safer physically, but what about the things that we're seeing?
Ah,
What about that trauma? What about those incidents that we're a part of? And then we get off work and we go home. It's a lot, it's a lot.
okay. So would you say there's anxiety?
There's anxiety, there's depression, increased use of alcohol, um, weight gain, irritability. There were so many things that we saw that we did not anticipate, because this is a guard unit. We were typically 1 week in a month. We came what's called an active duty mission. We were 24/7,
Mhm.
um, and there was just a lot of things that could not be anticipated. There was a lot of thoughts of suicide. There were suicide attempts, because again, while we're not physically there, we're there, right? We're
Yeah,
there. And
yeah,
again, whenever we've deployed in the military, you deploy, you all go together, things happen, but you're together. That camaraderie cannot be explained, cannot be duplicated. You're with your people. You're in a foreign land, but we're together. We're together, 6 months to a year. We can process it. We do something. We're getting off work, going to go pick up our kids and going to soccer practice. There was just so much. And I am thankful that I had commanders that were okay with, being very vocal with telling our people, if you need to take a knee, if you need to take a break, you take a break. I'm so thankful because I've heard stories from others. But my commander, the way he set the tone for me to be who I was everything. Because again, you asked a question. There were no other me's. There were no other me's. But I was part of a friendship, a sisterhood called a Circle of Trust. And I was the only me, and there's three other females. The way they covered me and fought for me, and, you know, people that did not know that I was part of that Circle of Trust, and these are three women that they're powerhouses in their own right. They might make the mistake and say something negative about that old black first sergeant. They met the right wrong ones with those three.
wow.
So,
Ah,
but my
so
commander allowed me to be that first sergeant. He said in an open room, Venita's the first sergeant, period. I had a mentor who says, they selected you. They put that diamond on your shoulders. You don't need anybody's permission. And once I heard that, I don't need anybody's permission. I don't. So I'm going to go in here and take somebody to the hospital. I'm going to go in here and say, he's done. I'm going to go. I'm, and there would definitely be some people that in the military, I don't think I dealt with racism as much as sexism. But there's going to always be more men in the military. And some of them really do not believe women should be in the military.
yeah.
And I would tell them, well, you can have your thought, just keep it to yourself.
Ah, that part. That part. You can have your thought. I'm not. Nah, hey, we're not gonna go back and forth, but you can hold that one.
You have to know that because my position gives me the authority to say that to you. You're not going to have any woman feel any type of way around here, and you're not going to model that to our male airmen.
Yes.
So my rank, I was here. It could be a colonel. My position is my position, and my commander backs me up. I'm not. I don't have to. I don't have to tongue wrestle with you because there's an AFI. There's an instruction that says this, and this. And if you can't read, I can go get the commander.
Right.
We all have choices.
So being that uh black people don't do this is a whole nother way of looking at black people say they don't do that. And it's no, people were saying black people don't do that. Yes, they do.
Black people were saying, I mean, especially during the era when that reality person was the president. I don't even like to acknowledge him. I can't. You
Right.
know, and I think that was a coping mechanism because when I was in uniform, you know, I really thought about retiring. And then my mother said, that fool ain't thinking about you. You better not mess with your money.
I need that book from mama. I need that book. Listen, I'm gonna need that book from mama.
And she's right. And that's what I would tell my airmen, white, black, male, female, that would come to my office and cry with the things that he did that showed he had no consideration for anybody, much less veterans, right?
Uh-huh.
My airmen are not slow. My airmen are intelligent. So they would see something he would say, especially about a veteran. They'd be like, this doesn't match. So my office was a safe space. Come. This is what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on each other and what we do. He was a B. He was reality TV. Let him be.
Right.
We're going to still respect, right? If thank you, Lord Jesus. One time I said it was cut into the base. And so I was like plotting, okay, how am I going to get pink eye? Because I know certain one of them will want to push me out because I'm the only one. So I was like, they're going to want me on the flight line. That's a good photo opportunity.
Mm.
So now I'm like, I'm going to have to get me some pink eye the night before.
Okay, so I just want to let you know the thing black people do. Listen, ain't nobody about to make me do something I don't want to do. I'm gonna get out of whatever way I can.
Especially that. Like,
Okay. All right. In the service, help people with mental health issues, just their being. I
yes.
get the being, but specifically with mental health, how would you say society, African Americans, Black people in society, how have we as a people addressed just mental health? How have you seen it change?
I've seen it change with, I love that people are more willing to talk about it. I love that parents, right? I love that parents are actually able to have a discussion. Um, you know, I've had so many young people in my family suffer from depression. You know, what you got to be depressed about? We got this nice house. We're in the suburbs. We got it. So I do know for certain people in my family now they're able to have a discussion now.
I was going to, because that's a discussion, even to say the things that you're seeing that are beneficial, you're still going, listen, I see this. What's wrong?
Yeah.
You're saying what's wrong. So you're allowing the person the opportunity.
Yes.
You're opening the floor to them.
And we have that discussion. I love that people know that there's numbers to call when they're full. I love that fire stations have places where people can drop off their babies, right? That is everything. Um, I love that people can call other people that are not their family and say, I need help. I do not like that. I think a lot of times, I have anxiety. Okay, we all know that. Now what? Well, I have anxiety. Oh, so we're just gonna keep coming up in here and putting all that out on everybody else. That's the part that was frustrating to me. Like, you know that there's something going on, that you need help, but you feel it because you said it. We're all supposed to just have it with you. I don't want it. What I want is for you to actually work at it, you know. In my family, I've been called so many times for people that are full, people that are, and I don't like to say full, like to minimize it, but they're just, they can't explain it, but they're like, I'm at my wit's end. So many people in my family have come to my house and had a week to just be still. I've gone to detox with about 5 family members. I love that everybody in my family, even the ones that, again, I'm not their cup of tea, they know that I'm their safe space. I know that, you know, my sister has daughters, my brother has daughters, my cousins have daughters. All of those young ladies know I'm a safe place.
Yeah.
You know, I might not have been talking with their mothers for whatever reason, might have probably slapped one or two. You asked for it. But those kids are still
You tried to
mine.
tell him. Wait, you're not gonna go by that. I tried to tell him. She's gentle. She kind. She's strong. You gonna find out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I remember one of my cousins was upset at her son, and she decided she was going to kick him. And I'm like, we were taught that our feet stay on the ground. He was 2. But if he get up and kick, I'm kicking his ass. I bet you won't. We were taught that our feet stay on the ground. You think I'm going to let you kick a 2-year-old in front of me? So, we're not doing.
Okay.
But I think that every child, every young adult, even every adult needs that person that they're safe with.
Yeah.
That they can come and call and say, I need this, and know that I'm not going to tell your mom or your dad or anybody unless I have to.
Right.
And that's just who I am. They're going to come to me. They're going to hide out. You know, I've had so many stay with me, and he's good now. He's good, but I was so scared. And I remember, you know, he stayed with me for like 3 months, and he was like, do I need to get a job? No, you need to grieve. He lost a child. He's young. He lost his baby. You need to write in your journal. You don't need to worry about getting no job. I don't need you. We eating. We good. We eating. I need you to be okay so that you can be here for the rest of your children.
My God. Absolutely beautiful. So being in the military and coming out, what would you tell her now that you're out? When you went in, what would you tell her? Knowing
I,
everything you know now.
I would tell her to be brave, to know that you belong there, to know that you don't need anybody's permission to be in that uniform. That's what I would tell her.
To be brave, to know that you belong, and that you don't need anybody's permission to be there. And you're saying in that uniform, but I would say that those 3 things are things that people could apply to their everyday life. To be
Yes.
brave every day, to
Yes.
not be ashamed of issues and dilemmas that you have, and get the help and face them. It's just, it, it just would make life so much more easy if
It
we allow
really would.
people to get the help that they need.
It really would. It is, you know, and I say that because I've done that, right? I've held stuff in, you know, I've not reached out. That's something I've gotten better with, saying I need help, because I've always been the strong one. I've always been the auntie that everybody runs to. I've had to like take a knee. I've had to say I need help, you know, and it's come, you know,
Yes.
it's come in droves.
Wow. For you to say, I need help, I would say that Something else that Black people say, you don't do that. You tell
Ex-
somebody you need help. You got that. You don't, You better stop and figure that out. You better fake it till you make it. When it would be so much more easy to just admit, listen, I got this and this, but I don't understand that right there. Can you explain that to me?
that is that piece, and I think I really got it during COVID. During COVID, I was married. That's when my husband decided that he didn't want to be married anymore. So I was by myself, like literally by myself, because I was in New York. I couldn't be around my grandmother because she was old, and she was like, "You're not gonna take me out." So she
That's another thing Black people don't do. Old people like, listen, I'm holding on.
don't come to my house. So this is what I love. This is how this woman is boss. But so what I did was I bought her and my dad an iPad. My grandmother's on Facebook. Mabel Wright. She started using that thing, and we would, because she needed to go to church. And her church, it's an older church. That's how she would get church. My grandmother's on the book now. I was like, she's sitting with a teenager. She loves Facebook, and I love it for her cognitive.
I love her. I need the book for mama, and then I just need to hang with Granny. Granny, come pick me up. Let's
You
roll.
can go to her page, and I gotta go and check and accept all her friend requests. She was dancing this past weekend at the party. Yes, my grandmother.
This
So
is how it
yes,
should be done.
yes,
That's absolutely amazing. I am excited because you retired from the military.
yes.
And most people think, wait, you retired. There's nothing to do. There's no life after that. You just said you got a divorce. You retired. It's like, wait, there's no life after that. Is that
But
true?
that's so erroneous, Black people. That's the piece that I just, especially, when you join the military, I was active for 10 years, and then I separated, and then I moved overseas. But it's like, I joined at 18. If I would have did the full 20, I would have retired at 38 with my full benefits. Medical was going to kick in the day that I retire. Lifetime medical. That right there is priceless. And then you get half of your monthly, pay at that time. So I did 10 years active. Um, and then I moved overseas. But I had so during the time, again, I decided I was going to get out, I was going to move overseas. And my mother says, "What about your education and what about all these bills?" She was like, "You are not going back to Rochester dumb and broke." I had like crazy credit card debt. So I had to pay off my debt, and then I went and finished my undergrad like really quickly. So I had my undergrad again. That was paid for by the military.
Yeah.
So that's another benefit I always talk about. I have a master's degree, and I still have 12 months of benefits left. I don't have any student debt. I have my retirement now. I don't get the way that my active duty time is. I don't get my money till 53, but I think that's still good.
Right.
My medical is covered. My medical is covered. So my grandmother had a saying, "You a sorry rat if you only have one corner to run to." I remember like, why grandma always talking about rats? But now I get it. If you only have one corner to run to, you a sorry rat.
Want to be a sorry rat. You want to be a happy rat.
you, she would always be like,
Boy.
and she worked and she retired. My grandfather was definitely old school. My grandmother, they came from South Carolina. My mother was 5. She had 2 other kids and she was pregnant. She did not want to leave because in South Carolina, we had our own land. She had her own house. Like, we the highfalutin ones. A lot of them came to Rochester for the Kodak jobs.
Right.
We had that. so like so many of us can point to, like Chicago, a lot of them, Mississippi and Alabama, right? There's certain areas where people came because you're like, okay, I'm here. Come on, brother. Come on, cousin.
Right. Right.
So ours went to Rochester for the Kodak jobs. Kodak was a thing back then. She was upset, but she came there. They worked. My grandmother worked. She was at the hospital. And my grandfather, another thing my grandfather did again, he paid someone to teach her how to drive.
Mm-hmm.
So, because women back then didn't drive, especially black women.
Right.
And he said he wasn't going to have his wife and kids looking for nobody to give them anything.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And that's why I say there are some things that during my lifetime, Black people have not changed. I am grateful that is definitely one that has changed. That point of view that even a Black woman wanting to be in the position of the
Yes.
driver of the car. But
Yes.
after you retired, I believe you became a realtor.
So out of that circle of trust, one of them, Shonda, she was retiring and she decided that she's going to be a realtor. And because I had already owned investment property, she decided you're going to be one. And I was like, I will not. I don't even like my tenants. I actually was about to go have words with one that was calling my mother, and she was calling my mother out of her name. So I was going to meet her at the house. I figured if we go in the backyard, it won't be a charge because it's our property. But nevertheless,
Excuse me. Excuse me. That is yet again something that Black people don't do. Let me tell you something. You better not mess with my mama. Please don't. Please don't.
it, and I have so much to lose, and I'm thankful. And you must with my security clearance. I'm gonna need you to cease and desist. But since you won't, there's the backyard. And that's another thing. This whole bullying thing, you just find someone bigger. And then that ends all that. But so
Right?
she decided that I was going to be a realtor. And I had investment properties. I was blessed. My father, my father and I were good by then. My father and I was very angry with my father as an adult. I was angry. And my mother said something, and I love that she never blocked him. She never got in the middle of that. That was our father. She's like, you run around here so mad at him, I didn't forgive him. You better cut it out. And they are like that now. That's why they can support me, the rest
Right.
of their kids and their grandkids. That's why they were together.
Right.
She's like, you not talking to him still? Girl, you better get over it. And I did go to therapy because I was very angry with my dad. She's like, I don't forgave him.
And that's the thing. It wasn't enough of just saying, get over it. I forgave him. You went and sought help.
I
And
had to.
I want our people to definitely put that investment in their mental,
You have to.
their emotional
You
health.
have to. Because it affected my relationship with men, right? It affected how I talk to other people. It affected me not allowing anybody to get close. It affected me eventually marrying men that were like my dad. So I should do a little bit more therapy. And I can say like him and there, like they both still love him, but they never touch me. I can say that I've never. I would date guys that I could see. Ooh, I could see you gonna try and raise your hand at me. I'm gonna leave you be. I've been blessed that has not been my story, but it did affect my relationships. I didn't want a relationship. I didn't want to get married. Like there was no trust. There was, yeah, I was a problem. Not nice.
That's crazy. Not crazy. Just the word that just came up in my mind. That's where I'm going. That's crazy. You just thought that's what you thought when you heard her say that. It just sounded like no hope. You said no trust When you say no trust, I heard no hope.
Yeah, because
Hope.
when you're right. When you see men interact with women a certain way, and you see this, it becomes normal. The men in my family, they're minds. I love them, but they're just for the streets. But they're minds, and I love them. When I tell you, the way they would treat me versus other women too. So, and I'm the oldest. I'm the first girl. So I'm loved by these men. But I see how they love the other women. I see the games.
And
I
it's
see,
functional.
yes,
Say, oh my gosh, I can honestly say there are people in my life that love me, but the love is so dysfunctional.
the love for me is functional, but the love they show to other women and the respect,
I can see that that's dysfunctional.
yes, that's not. It's and I had like again, I look at my older cousins, and when I tell you the way they loved on me, the way I remember making my one cousin went to college, and I made him these easy bake oven cakes. You would have thought I made like a 2 tier like. My older male cousins have always looked out for me and loved on me, but I saw the interactions with other women, and I just, like you said, where's the hope?
Yeah.
So
Now,
yeah, there was a lot.
now you're thinking, okay, so you really only have affectionate, healthy love with a family member who you're caring for.
Yes.
When it's someone you're trying to be intimate with, or in that vein, it's not healthy. Girl, listen. I wholeheartedly hear every drop, every skibble, every bibble, every bop, bop, bop. Listen, so I want you to tell the people about the opportunity they can have to work with you in
Yes.
real estate. I want you just to focus on that. I want to
Okay.
give the floor to you so
Okay.
you can tell them about that. Just that. I just want
Just
them to have an opportunity.
okay.
I know, and I'm excited for them to know.
Okay. So if you're excited and interested and wanting to invest in some properties, Rochester, Buffalo, Niagara Falls would be a great place for you to do that. So I'm an investor realtor. When I say I'm an investor realtor, I mean just that. I'm a realtor, but I also invest. I also have my own investment properties. I also flip. So there's realtors out there, but you want one that does what you want to do. I'm a midterm rental owner, which means I own and operate midterm rentals. Midterm rentals are short-term rentals, 30 days, where you rent to professionals. So I rent to traveling medical professionals, and they're Airbnb co-hosts. So we all know what Airbnb is, right? But you don't want those calls. You don't want the maintenance. You don't want the housekeeping issues. You don't want to make sure you keep that 5 star. I would be the host for your property so that you can make the money. Um, Again, I work at Niagara Falls, Rochester, Buffalo, New York. You can call me, text me for sure, and then that is my email. Venita, I'm sorry, V Jackson at SecurityTeam.com.
Right? So I also want you to tell them about opportunities to help servicemen, service women,
Yes.
service our
Yes.
all those that serve that have mental health challenges. If you have extra time, you're retired and things like that, how could they go out and be able to give to those who have served us?
So another thing that I am passionate about is hospice. I've been a hospice volunteer since about 7 years. I kind of work with them also. I don't want to speak too much on that. But a lot of our service members are in hospice care and they're transitioning along. If you want to find a way to really give and say that you respect and honor, please, if you can, Look into your local hospice site, facility, or organization for any volunteer opportunities working within the hospice setting. Um, there are so many that, again, have served our country that are transitioning alone, and it doesn't have to be that way. So volunteer opportunities are out there. Look into them. I'm telling you, it's going to be an honor that you can't even imagine.
An honor that you can't even imagine. So what kind of thing, kind of volunteer positions are you discussing? Or
So, um, I spoke about my father in that relationship. Another thing that I didn't highlight was, again, my father was the black sheep of the family, but he had 12 siblings that when my mother left my father, my paternal grandfather said, and I remember because like I'm always there, it's about time that you still my daughter. Nothing changed with the other side of my dad's family. In fact, they stepped up. So I had my favorite uncle, my Uncle Junior. He was in hospice. And so I would go visit him. And he was a vet. And I would just sit there with him. Because he was, like I said, nothing. When my mother finally left my dad, nothing changed with my uncles and my aunties. They would come and get us, take us down south. But Uncle Junior was just a man. Uncle Junior was the man. So I would be there with him when someone said, there's a vet to vet program because he told them she's a vet. And he was so proud. And so that's how I got started in it. The last time I saw my paternal grandfather, my sister joined the military after me. She joined the Army. So she was at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Again, my family's in the country. It's about an hour away. And so I went to the graduation. My mother made me wear my uniform, and I'm glad she did. So I stood out because I have on the blue. So then after the ceremony, my sister got she got some liberty. She said, keep on your uniform. Because we were going to put on our shorts. We were going home to the country with our family. Keep on your uniform. And we were so mad because it's hot. South Carolina. We got on the whole suit. But we went in the room and saw our grandfather. And he was so weak. But he just started crying and tears came out of his eyes because he was also a vet. He said, those are my babies. That was the last time I saw him and he saw us, but he saw his two girls in uniform. And again, like I said, I've been so blessed to have all my grandparents my whole life. When my mother left my dad, my grandparents took care of us on the paternal side. I don't think my sister, I told her, did you ever walk? She was always at my grandfather's house. He walked us to school. And then I had the other set too. They were younger, so they were working, but the older set. So when people tell me again, especially younger generation, like we don't serve this country, I remind them about Uncle Junior. I remind them about Alan McCullough. I remind them about my grandfather. Like, don't you ever act like this is not our country, that this is not our right. But if like Cohen, we want to take a knee, we can because that's still our flag.
yeah.
That's I've had discussions with people about that. Like, how can he do that to our flag? Who are you to say that that's how he should do it? His flag. And they would really look like I'm gonna have a discussion. I'm gonna have a discussion. That's our flag. It's not ours. It's not mine. Because when we take a knee, that's a sign of respect. I thought in the military. So yeah.
Wow. Ma'am, it has been an honor and a privilege to speak with you in this space, in this time on mental health, military, and all things or a lot of things that Black people don't do, but you should do. If you want to live an abundant life, I thank you. I'm honored that you came through. I thank you so much for so freely just relaxing and telling all about yourself, your family, and your experience walking this earth as a beautiful Black queen. Thank you so much.
You are extraordinary. You are a gift. Um, this was a stretch for me, but I have to. I have to stretch, right? Because one, it's you. It was no question. Damn it! Excuse my French.
We don't speak French here. We don't.
I'm sorry, because this is we're not gonna do that. The coach to your confident voice, right? Look at what you put out of people. So I can't be like, I'm good. So thank you.
Now, black people don't do that.
No, black people do everything. That's why people come for us because we are it. That's why. It's what they're our fans. Really, they're not our haters. They're our fans.
Do you know I'm getting ready to change the title of this. Black people don't do that. Nah, black people do everything. That's why they come to us. You just everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, one and only. You can't eat it like this anywhere else. Venita Jackson. Thank you so much, ma'am. You are
Thank you.
priceless. Thank you.
Likewise.
Oh my God. Okay, okay. Listen, everybody. That was so amazing. The conversations that we just had. So amazing just to unpack, take one person's life experience as a Black person and just go through all the myths and just say, hey, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. It's not that Black people don't do that. It's that Black people do everything. That's basically where they get it all. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and do this before we get out of here. Listen, if you're looking for a graphic designer, if you're looking for someone to take those pictures that are unforgettable, that's what you will find at Compassionate Designs with Tanya Stokes and her team. And just for being confident, you check that description box for your special. When I say amazing discount, you definitely want to grab that. Just let her know Marion from Confident You sent you. She's part of our family. Go and check her out. Listen, also, you got a business, you thinking about a business, you know somebody in business, you like, baby, you not doing too good. Let me go ahead and give you this information so you can do better. That's right. You want to triple your sales in your business. And I got somebody here who can do that. Here, Kevin. No, I'm sorry. King is his last name. So Eric F. King and his team are here for you. Now, this is another compassionate person because this is the compassionate closer. You can reach him at compassionatecloser.com and Eric will take care of you. Just let him know your girl from Marion from Confident You podcast sent you over, and he's going to make sure you get your free goodie, your masterclass, and then you get an ebook, and then you get an opportunity to work with him. So make sure you check that out. Don't forget Bethany House, anybody suffering at the hands of domestic violence, whether it's you, a family member, someone you just suspect may be suffering at the hands of domestic violence. Please don't forget Bethany House, 1-888-80-HELPS. That's 43577. And of course, here at Confident You, we definitely want you to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to follow us on social media at Marion Swingler or and I want you to do both of them, and at Confident You _podcast, because there is so much more to come. When I tell you God is moving, God is working, it is not a game. I'm excited to be able to bring you the content, the information, the confident building information that we are giving here today. Today, about mental health, about the military, just about Black people in general. We are powerful people. All right, I think I've said enough. Did I say it all? Wait, I'm searching my mind. I'm searching my mind. Seems as though we're out. See you next time, Confident You.